Spoilers, everybody. It's Doc back again, and I'm here with Hype's Watch. And apparently, this episode made Jerry a little allergic. It got him sneezing over there, but it's all good though.
He's allergic to bullshit, dude. He's totally allergic to bullshit.
It's all good. It's all good. So with me today for season 6, episode 2, I've got Christina the Sphinx, Don the Kraken Wit, James Michelle, and Jerry the Red Hyper Martell. So, ladies first, why don't you guys introduce yourselves? And Christina's eating now.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm Christina the Sphinx. It's late night. I'm turned, and I'm excited about the episode, and I'm eating fish. Life.
All right. Senor Kraken.
All right, hey, what's going on, Crack Nation, all my crackheads out there with all your beautiful faces. I love every single one of y'all for coming on the Hype's Watch and checking it out. Don, Willie, thank you for the invite tonight. I think we got a real tasty episode to devour real quick, just like Christina and her fish real quick.
Oh, yeah, and definitely we're going to have to talk about, some salt, rock, stuff like that. James, say hello to the people.
Hello, people. Okay. My name is James Michelle. I am a crackhead, but I wish I'd lose some weight as a result from being a crackhead. That's it.
Okay, Jerry.
Oh yeah, Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat here, and you know who I am. You're part of the Hype's Watch here. We're ready to drop some dimes, and I just gotta say, tonight I will not be needing these. So let's get started.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Let's get started.
So this episode started the way we wish the last one would have started. We got Bran. He's back. He's looking through the trees, and we get an awesome but very short flashback of Winterfell, and we get to see young Ned, young Benjen, and Lyanna Stark, and I'm not sure if that was supposed to be Brandon kind of looking like Rob a little bit there, but maybe we'll get another glimpse at that. And also we get to see young Hodor, or as he was known, Willis, apparently. He's Walder in the books.
I thought you were named Willie, but oh well.
Yeah, whatever you. But so apparently he is Willis in the show, Walder in the book. But hey, it is what it is. So what did you guys happen to think about this opening scene with Bran?
Well,
James, you set it off.
Yeah. First off, we were in our chat that we were in while we were watching the show. Jerry typed something that I was in the middle of typing at the same exact time, and that was, "What you talking about, Willis?" But yeah, yeah. I needed that a little earlier. But yeah, that being said, it was interesting. I think that they changed the name because, as Jerry pointed out in our little chat, that they didn't want to, cross the streams with names, just like they did with Asha and Osha. So I'm assuming that's the gist of the name change. But the scene was fine. I thought little Rickon was he was it was cute, as ladies would say. It reminded me of what it reminded me of. It was like Tommen's scene in the books in King's Landing when he was getting beat by the wooden horse. That's what that scene kind of reminded me of. But of course, it was Ned fighting Tommen. But yeah, it was a cool scene. I enjoyed seeing Bran. And yeah, that was a cool scene.
All right, Christina. I did think she said she was lagging, so I'll give her a second here.
I'll go in the meantime. Okay, I pretty much agree with everything James had just said. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. One thing I did notice, Lyanna, she's pretty tall. She was actually bigger than Ned, which actually might lent to the fact that she might actually be the Knight of the Laughing Tree, which is something I believe, but I think that gives it a little bit more credibility. It's pretty big or pretty tall for a girl.
Yeah, I did kind of notice that, but when she got off the horse, I mean, depending on which angle it was, like from one angle she looked taller, and then from another angle she looked like she was the same size as Ned, so I was kind of thrown
Even
off
if
with
she's the
that.
same size, that she's younger than Ned, so that's still.
I mean, yeah, but the whole thing about puberty and girls developing faster than boys. Oh, we lost Christina. Hopefully she gets back in very soon. But we'll see what is supposed to be the actual deal with that. Kraken, what do you got for us?
Dude, I was completely shocked when I saw this episode. Like, just like the epic flashback from Bran and him seeing all of his aunts or his aunt and uncles, just and his dad, like. Yeah, I thought it was very well put together. I loved seeing Lyanna and Brandon dude, Brandon had some mad sideburns. Did you see that? Like, I
Yeah,
was,
he looked like he needed to be in Metallica or Megadeth or something.
yeah, I was like, those chops are on point right now, Brandon. Like, way to go. But yeah, I thought it was a really good scene. I really did.
All right, Christina, your thoughts on the opening scene?
Okay. Sorry, I just got back. Did you guys, I leave for you?
Oh,
Wait, dirt.
uh,
Left.
There's one more thing I wanted to say about this scene that I can't think of it now. All right, now. Well, okay, just go on, Christina.
I was going to ask if you were going to talk about Old Nan, but Christina, go ahead.
About Onan.
I mean, no, just about the opening scene, period. Your thoughts.
So remind me what the opening scene was.
The opening scene was Bran and Bloodraven in the trees and, the flashback to Winterfell.
Okay. Yeah. I totally liked how they were holding on to the roots. I told James this earlier. Like, I like that they.
We lost Christina. Okay, I remember what I wanted to say.
Their
now.
bodies like they are in the
there it
books.
Wow, you just froze right in the middle, and we got maybe 2 words out of that. Yeah, tonight is an off night. Internet is kind of funny like that. I'm actually yeah, we actually started this late because I was watching on HBO Go and it froze with 16 minutes left to go in the episode. So, yeah, hey, it happens. Technology is always there to fail when you need it the most. Anyway, so what did you guys happen to think about the redesign of the Children of the Forest? Because I noticed that they definitely gave them a little bit more of a mystic look. They looked a little bit more kind of like like the Na'vi from Avatar, a little bit, except for the cat-like face.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you guys happen to think about that?
She was a lot darker and different hairdo, different dress. James noticed it a lot more than I did as we were talking. And James, go ahead and you can take it away up with that.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed it right off the bat. I noticed that she was looking a lot, like a lot more like a tree, essentially, like the same shade as a tree. And I think that's kind of the look they were going for, and especially you could notice it once she was outside talking with Meereen, and you could see her against the backdrop of the white. It would really, they really stood out at that point. But yeah, it's an interesting redesign. I think they kind of listened to criticism that they were taking from the look of her and Bloodraven. I wish they would have changed Bloodraven's look, but they kind of didn't. But it is what it is. I thought it was fine.
If they listen to the criticism on the look, I think that would be like a answer to the criticism, because that looks nothing like the Children of the Forest from the books. It just got cuter.
Yeah, they just made it. I think, just you sometimes you listen to criticism, it doesn't mean you get it right. You know.
It's an improvement. It's an improvement.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that everybody getting up and going outside through a secret back door of the Weirwood throne was like a thing. You know, like I didn't know they could do that.
Yeah, that actually kind of confused me too, and I was
Yeah,
going to
it's like literally okay, like you're in the throne of Bloodraven in this Weirwood tree, and there's a man-built door at the bottom of it that you can just go in the backyard and just stare off into the lands of always winter. You know, I didn't know that was a thing. Like that just like really shocked me. I was like, oh well, I guess I'm just learning new things every day. You know, like you fucking serious?
I mean, you know
Because
what?
like no, there's such a threat of White Walkers like fucking running around the entire throne, but we can just go out on the backyard in the back porch and just hang out. You know, like I was like, dude, they're supposed to be everywhere. They want into that place to stop Brand and Bloodraven, quote unquote. You know, because they're the good force or whatever. You know, that's why they were supposed to be there in the first place. You know, was to
She's like,
take it over. You know, and Bran may get visions about them wanting to burn it down later, or at least what we saw in the trailers, or it may actually happen. You know, but I just thought it was kind of far-fetched how they could just walk outside and just sit there, you know, and just lay Bran down on the ground, like with no protection. He's just laying down.
no, Bran was like this. He was like,
Yeah, like
What
he
are
was
you doing?
modeling, you know, like on the ground. Like it just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, in my world, in the Kraken's world, thinking about the situation that Bran had going on, like you could not go outside because they want to kill you.
Do they not remember what happened to Jojen when he was laying
Jojen.
down right outside that same tree?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like literally, that was like 75 yards away. You know, like on the other side of the fucking tree.
Maybe it implies that there was once an alliance back in the day between men and the children of the forest, and they built those for men. Or at the end of the day, it just fucked up.
I mean, look, you know what? In the overall grand scheme of this particular episode, though, I think that's a minor nitpick that we can kind of overlook,
I
especially
agree.
compared to what was going on last episode. I don't think we need to put too much into
Well,
that one
It goes
particular.
back to it goes back to what Tony Teflon said earlier today. Like Dave and Dane and the people at HBO, they don't love it like we love it. You know what I'm saying? Like we love it a little too much. You know, and we go into it and we go hard into Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying? Like and into a Song of Ice and Fire. They don't. You know, so
We stick it with the pointy end.
yeah, like we're having to deal with these people that don't like it as much as we do.
Yeah, no,
Alright.
listen, I get it. I totally understand what you're getting at, but I'm just, from the aspect of how, from the aspect of what they did so wrong last episode, I think we can give them a small pass on that kind of thing for this particular episode. I
A
mean,
man-made door size
so
pass.
better.
yeah, I mean, like, what,
It was so much better.
yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on to the wall here. So we get to the wall. Thorne is trying to break down he's trying to threaten Davos, and then our man, like what we all knew was going to happen, 1-1 comes crashing through. They start, the Night Watch takes no time to see that they're overwhelmed and look like a bunch of, jabronis trying to fight the wildlings, and then Ollie comes out like, Little Bitch Junior jabroni, and tries to fight Tormund, and Tormund just spins him around like a record round, and they caught, and that was it.
Well, look, you know what? This was an awesome scene, and it's funny because Yeah, and it's funny because somebody just put in the chat that I stopped the speculation this morning. I kind of got a little frustrated because somebody asked me about what gate 1-1 was breaking through, and yeah, I was just kind of like, look, if you would have asked me a month ago, I wouldn't have been irate about it, but like the season's already started. There's pictures all over the place. Damn it, guys, it's Castle Black. All right, and finally, I have been vindicated. So you know what? You get no apology out of me for that one. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, we got the kind of Sir Patrick of 9-star reference with 1-1 slapping the shit out of whoever that was against the wall and just tossing his body. Alistair Thorne and the rest of those clowns got exactly what they deserve, and in fact, what they should have got more, but the wildlings were trying to be merciful, so we will grant them that one. And yeah, it's one of those things where I am so glad that they actually decided to put in those little Easter eggs from the book. And I mean, even though they haven't done anything, I mean, everything, it's still good for them to have something that we can call back to and be like, all right, you know what? Yeah, we will forgive you in the name of the Seven for some of your past transgressions, but definitely not all, and especially not a lot of the shit that happened with Doran. Uh, so what do you guys what are you guys thinking about that
I
particular?
have to say that Dolores Ed looked like a total boss. Like he put Springsteen to shame how boss he looked in that scene, and then he just he showed good leadership, good compassion, arrested Thorne instead of just killing everyone, arrested Ali after making him look like a fool. But other than that, that's really all I have to say about that scene.
All right, so what if we have in the show Dolores said being a boss, just like you said, and I completely agree. We have him being a boss, doing what's right, and talking about, oh, the only betrayers are the ones that did this shit to Jon. And what if we take some of his dreams or prophecies from the books and actually bring them to fruition? About Ed being the Lord Commander and, different things like that. What if, guys, it's actually coming true? Dolores
Well,
Ed may become the new Lord Commander
I
of the
think
Night's Watch.
it's a slam dunk
Plan-
because they haven't built up anyone else to regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too, and I think I got to give Val from Because Geek on that one. She called that like months ago on Dolores Ed there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they
You
would have
told-
kept, I was just say if they would have kept someone like Gren alive or something, maybe he'd have a cause for maybe he could be Lord Commander, but they didn't keep him alive. Dolores said is literally the only other speaking role of the Night's Watch other than Alistair Thorne and Ollie, so he has to be
Yeah.
Lord Commander.
Maybe if they wouldn't have turned Thorne, he might have been a candidate. But since they turned Thorne against Jon, so that pretty much left only Ed.
But they haven't made this character out to be such a comedian in the show as definitely he was in the books. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he always had something very quick and very witty to say. 9 times out of 10. And I just think it would be a really, like James said, just a slam dunk for Dolores said to be the Lord Commander.
Now, one interesting thing that the Quiet Wolf brought up in the chat: what if, some of us think Benjen's coming back this season? Could they make Benjen Lord Commander?
I don't think Benjen ever makes it back to the Wall. I think he's going to have like some shit going on north of the Wall, and I think he'll die heroically up there eventually.
I tend to agree with you on that.
Well, Christina, I need to hear your thoughts on this one. You're the only one who hasn't talked about this particular scene.
She might be a little frozen there.
Yeah.
All right.
As soon as you ask her a question, she mutes herself.
No, I'm lagging, guys. Don't hate on me. That's not my fault.
We can hear you fine.
You can?
Yeah.
Now I can.
Okay. What was the question? Repeat it.
About the scene with the wildlings and Dolorous Head breaking into Castle Black and saving Jon's body, along with Davos and the other gentlemen who were guarding it from Alicent Thorne.
Yeah, so there's definitely not going to be a Night's Watch after this season is done. Like, it's done. It's over. There's barely any of them in. What?
Nothing. All right, so all right. I mean, hey, she says there's not going to be a Night's Watch after this.
So let's go to King's Landing next here. So we start off with King's Landing with the commoner. I guess he's talking about the Walk of Shame and how he's making fun of Cersei. Then we get the Mountain coming up behind him, Jason Voorhees style, and just killing the shit out of him. And then we get a scene with Cersei trying to attend Marcella's funeral, but apparently Tommen has stopped them, and the soldiers he sends Lannister soldiers to get in their way, and she almost chooses violence here, almost chooses it, but decides not to, much to the relief, as you can tell from that soldier. You could see he wanted no part of Jason Voorhees. And then we go to the Sept, and we see Tommen and Jaime having a little conversation. Jaime's trying to give him a little bit of advice. Tommen, he's kind of got to thinking his own thing. Then we have Tommen leave, and High Septon come in, and Jaime and High Septon have their little kind of, I don't know what do you call this? They're like threats, but not really threats. They're being like really coy to each other.
It's like a pissing match.
Yeah, it's like a pissing match.
Penis contest.
Yeah, and then we get a scene with Tommen and Cersei, which shows that Tommen thinks he might have done his mom a little wrong. He's real indecisive, which is very Tommen-like, and they have a little moment. They have a little moment. I don't think there was too much erroneous going on there yet.
You see, like the funny thing I think about the High Sparrow and Jaime, like the whole time I was screaming, like while watching the episode, I was like, I killed a king. I stabbed him in the back. I literally have no problem killing you, High Sparrow. But I think maybe Jaime was like, yeah, I could kill this dude right now, but somebody would just take his place. There's nobody that would take the place of Jaime Lannister.
Well, I think the most important thing from that whole scene was the last line that the High Sparrow said. I don't have the exact line, I don't exactly remember it, but it was something along the lines of, when you have faith, you can take over nations. And I believe that was kind of the High Sparrow showing his true motivations. Some people think he doesn't, that he doesn't really have this sinister side to him, but I think he showed his true motivations in that particular part. He essentially wants to take over, I believe.
I mean, well, he actually said, even though we are poor, we outnumber you, and when you outnumber those who are in power, you can bring down an empire.
Okay,
so yeah. He wants to get rid of the status quo. We're not exactly sure why he wants to do that, but listen, fuck the High Sparrow. I want him to die as quickly. No, I want him to die slowly and very painfully. I would love for them to send him to House Bolton and have Ramsay flay the shit out of him, because fuck the High Sparrow, fuck Septa Unella, fuck.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
well,
I'm saying.
See, I'm a fan of actually someone taking down the monarch, but not these guys. Not these guys. See, this is one of the few that would actually be worse than the monarch is not good, but this would be worse. This has the Spanish Inquisition all over it, and I'm just not a fan.
Bad. Like, they're all the worst. It's just different agendas. Like, they're all equally sucky.
My prediction, Don Willie, is that the High Sparrow is going to get Robert Strong. He's going to get a choke slam onto some pavement.
Yeah,
Undertaker style.
Yeah.
You know what? I will accept that answer, sir, and I do hope that it does come true.
They are.
I mean, it's funny because even with that whole thing, you had Cersei who was trying to go to Marcella's funeral, and apparently it was the High Sparrow who was like, "No, not happening. You can't come." I'm like, God damn,
Well,
dude.
actually, it was
Seriously.
Tommen that made that decision.
No, but remember, the whole thing was supposed to be that the High Sparrow told Tommen that no, we're not letting your mother in here. So that's the whole thing that kind
They
of
said
got
that?
me. Yeah, the whole thing was supposed to have been that the High Sparrow basically told Tommen, nah, your mom can't come into the Sept of Baelor.
And see, here's the thing. Tommen makes the right decisions. He says, okay, I'm not going to go against you because it could either end up with my mom being locked up again or killed or me being killed or starting a war. But he's looked at as being weak because he makes these smart political decisions. And then he goes to his B-word mom. Yeah, I know how I feel about Cersei. He goes to his B-word mom and he's like, can you make me a monster like you? And she says, yes, come to me. I'll teach you the ways. And I'm like, no.
I mean, listen, I think that's going to be very interesting to see him embrace his more, sinister Lannister roots. Will he take after his grandfather? I would love to see him get a little Tywin in his system, or a little Cersei in his system.
Yeah, right. I want Tommen to get a little bit of Joffrey in his system. That's what
Yeah,
I
well,
want.
I think that might be just a touch too far.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Tywin kept things
Joffrey's like
in
a 10.
order.
Tywin's
Oh,
like,
no, fuck Tywin. No, fuck Tywin and his
What?
bullshit. That guy was all about himself and the nobles. This guy stomped all over the common man. Fuck Tywin and his bullshit.
I mean,
Fuck
look,
him.
I'm not talking about that whole part about stomping on the common man. I'm talking about, more so just the whole thing of, all right, you know what? We need to keep things in control.
Oh, we
Joffrey,
know how that he keeps things in control. His way of keeping things in control is not the good way.
listen, but Joffrey was 10 times worse. Okay, Joffrey was
Yeah.
way worse than Tywin ever could have imagined being.
Yes, I'll agree there.
and Joffrey Baratheon Lannister.
Hmm. I mean, listen, it is what it is, but I just oh, you know what? I will say we definitely got more of the classic Cersei in this particular episode because last episode with her with I knew it was gonna happen and it's all because of me and like no, that ain't Cersei, So I'm glad that we actually got to see a more true to form Cersei in this one where it's her scheming and her showing her anger towards the fact that she's not getting her way. So,
I didn't get
you know,
that, Willie.
yeah,
I
I
didn't,
mean,
I didn't get that from her. I still got the same, like, this weird new Cersei.
I got an in-between version of her. An in-between, I would say.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, you're totally right on that.
I
Yeah,
didn't
like a half and half Cersei.
I mean, well, I'm more so referring to when Tommen actually came to see her. Like now, the part where she's walking down the stairs and the guards stop her. Yeah, if it was old Cersei, 100% old Cersei, there would have been some bodies flying. But when Tommen actually comes to see her, it's kind of like, all right, now you're starting to see uh, the real Cersei kind of come back because that's the way she kind of treated Jamie, even earlier, before Joffrey even died. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we have that one back because that's more of the real Cersei than that bullshit that we got last week.
Dude, yeah, and I completely agree. Like, when everybody will see it on my reaction, but when Tommen was like, "Yeah, help me," and they hugged each other, I was like, in a Cersei voice, I was like, "Okay, let's burn down King's Landing." You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? Like, since you got my back, since you're the king, let me show you how to be ruthless. And like she's gaining confidence, because she's spending more time with Sir Robert Strong. So she is gaining more and more power. Even all of Tommen's Kingsguard were scared of Cersei and Sir Robert Strong. So now, hang on. Yeah, they should have been. Yeah, definitely. But now they will join forces, and King's Landing is probably about to be stripped down to the skeleton and burned down to the ground.
I have a question.
Take it away.
Where's Kevin and Pycelle?
Chilling, cruising.
Miss them or?
I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll probably see them either next episode or the episode after. Right now they're just kind of dealing with the Cersei issue, and they'll get to the rest of it later. But
it is kind of weird that they didn't show up to the funeral. But oh well. Let's just move on. What do you say we go to Meereen now?
Yes.
All right.
You know what? Meereen.
So Meereen, okay.
Sounds better.
Yeah. Let's go. It starts with a little bit of a conversation. Tyrion's trying to make some jokes with Varys. Varys is really joking back. Not really much is happening here other than Tyrion's trying to say some funny stuff, and finally says he going to the dragon pits, and that's where we really get the highlight of Meereen is when Tyrion goes in the dragon pits. Releases the dragons as he's well read on the dragons. He's read Septon Barth's Unnatural Histories book about dragons, so he knows about their captivity will bring him down. So he releases them. I didn't think he was going to release them right away. I thought he was going to go down there and strike up a friendship like he did, which was pretty cool to see. He treated them like a person. Like he knew they were intelligent and treated them like a person. It was pretty cool to see. And what do y'all think?
I thought it was a cool scene. One interesting thing to note is that we can finally, because there was some people were saying like, oh, Tyrion's gonna die in that scene because they showed the dragon like there was like a trailer, like a quick cut of like him. Like, come on, Tyrion is too important of a character. He wouldn't. First off, if he's gonna die, they're not gonna kill Tyrion in episode 2 of the season. He's an episode 9 or 10 character death if he's ever gonna die. But we can put that to rest. The rest of the stuff I was fine with. I thought it was a cool scene. There was some good tension in it because there was still the chance something crazy might happen. But yeah, we all knew that what was going to happen, kind of. Yeah, it was cool, and I know T said she didn't want to see Tyrion riding a dragon, but I don't know, maybe he might.
She just doesn't like little people. She hates Willow. She hates the Ewoks. That's the kind of person she is.
I mean, well, listen, I thought that this scene was excellent. It's funny because the scene with, well, at least a part of the scene with Tyrion saying I drink and I know things actually seemed a lot funnier in context. And, the funny thing was he was talking about he makes eunuch jokes because Varys makes dwarf jokes. And Varys is like, no, I don't. He's like, well, you think him. So that was kind of it had much better dialogue this time around, and I love the fact that the dragons are unchained. Now, when will they become an actual factor? That is the next question that must be asked, but I think we can get to that at a later time. Right now, like I said, I was just very satisfied with the way that they did this scene, and I'm glad that they did it this way. So,
Kraken or Christina, you got anything to say about that, or should we move on to Arya?
Well, I just have a question. Like, I really thought it was kind of weird that he can just like talk to the dragons, and they just let him roll up on them and pop their chains off.
Well, he talked to them like a person. He talked to them with respect. He knew exactly what he was doing.
But if that was the case, then...
He did everything Quentin didn't.
Look, Quentin did it the right way. Danny Never mind. Let's talk this.
Yeah, we'll have to have a separate discussion on dragon taming. How to
Shots
tame
fired.
dragons.
Shots fired, everybody. Shots fired.
I mean, I'm happy they're free. I just want them to fly out. They didn't fly out, so I was like, lame.
That was kind of confusing to me about
they like went back in.
how they turned around. Yeah, like, and maybe they were like, okay, thanks for setting us free. We'll wait to see you next time. You know,
When we're ready,
like,
not today,
maybe
Friday.
And then like they're getting bigger, and that little opening hole doorway is getting smaller. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, y'all need to like leave now if you want to get out, like, because that's the only way you'll actually fit.
Well, that's the thing. If you want to get out, right? Like,
Right.
if you want to get out, but maybe they don't want to get out.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like ready for them to fly off, and they walked back inside, and I said, oh, okay, so
I don't know. Tyrion MVP. Way to go, Tyrion.
MVP for real.
He's the real MVP.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Arya here, and then so Arya, well, she turns out to be no Matt Murdock. I see she still sucks at
No Matt Murdock.
And then out of the wave beats her up for a little bit, you know, makes her look like a fool, like if she's Ollie or something. And then Jack and Agara comes up as she's fighting air and test her, I guess, to see if she still has the will to be no one. And I guess she passed the test, and I guess she's going on to the next phase. What are your thoughts there, guys?
I was kind of appreciative that they're kind of speeding it up a little bit, because I was, you know, you kind of think about it, you're like, okay, all she says is like, I'm no one 3 times, and she gets to get in. But at least I think they have to accelerate it, and I'm kind of glad that they are. I was fine with it.
Yeah, you know, listen, that's what happens when you don't have Netflix and don't watch Daredevil seasons 1 and 2. You know, somebody comes through, they make you blind and start beating your ass until you can learn something. So yeah, listen, I was glad to see.
She ain't no Matt Murdock.
Yeah, I was glad that they moved this up. You know, that we'll get to see Arya finish her training, or at least accelerate in her training. So yeah, I'm anxious to see where they're gonna go later on with this one. You know, like I said, you know, overall, I was very much more impressed with this episode than I was with the last one. So I mean, I don't have too many nitpicks, and Arya's scene was definitely one of the highlights of this episode for me.
I wouldn't call it a highlight, but I was definitely happy to see her torture coming to an end, because you can only do that so long. Like, eventually, something has to come.
We think it's coming to an end.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, like,
portion, like the blind Beth stick fighting in the street portion.
Or
maybe.
She should have been dancing in the street, is what she should have been doing.
Suffering like 6 concussions, you know, like with beat over the head with a fucking bamboo staff or whatever the fuck it was.
Dead on in the nose. Like,
yeah.
So many times.
That shit would have broken a normal human being. It would have broken their head.
Yeah, that was real unrealistic. It was like, damn, like all the time, just like.
You know what? But hey, props to Arya, because she's the only one in history that could endure such behavior. And
she's blind.
Yeah, and she's blind. Yeah, she couldn't even see it coming.
Well, listen. Remember one thing: Starks are hard to kill.
Yeah, they are.
There you go.
You Starks are hard to kill. Yeah.
Yeah. Steven Seagal. Anyways, so let's move on to the next scene. So next scene we got is Roose, you know, getting after Ramsay about Sansa getting away and Brienne killing all those men. Looks like the Karstarks found them and brought the news back. And then we get a message from a really big maester. That guy, I don't know if anyone noticed, but that fucking maester was huge. He looked like...
Yeah, he was a big guy. Yeah.
It looked like if he would have just taken off his chains, he could have beat the shit out of Ramsay. But okay, so He
strangled Ramsay with the chains, and beat everybody else's ass in the room,
Exactly. And so he comes and informs the Roose and Ramsay that a child was born. It's a boy. Roose, I don't know if maybe he knew Ramsay was a threat, so he was trying to make him, lighten it, like, you're my number one. He was kind of like, the Joker with Bob. He's like, you're my number one. So, Bob and Ramsay. And Ramsay's having none of it and just straight up stabs Roose. No real witnesses around to see this happen, and makes just bullies the Maester into sending the message of that. And I do have to give credit here to Val from Because Geek Again. She was the first one I know that predicted that Roose was going to be killed by Ramsay. He predicted he was going to be on the Burning Cross. And then we go on to Ramsay walking around like he is the new he's the new Lord Bolton. And he does what Ramsay does. He lures Fat Walda and the baby into the kettles, which are kind of a weirdly guarded kettles. I've never seen a dog kennel like that. Looked kind of strange. The gates look kind of strange, and then he let them out, and they did their business that they didn't do with Sansa.
Did anybody else freak out when Ramsay asked to hold the baby? Like, I was literally freaking out. I was like, please, Ramsay, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Like, I just thought that he would, like, slam that baby down into the ground or something, but...
There was a fire not too far from him. I thought he was going to throw the baby into the fire.
Oh, man.
I thought he was going to throw the baby to the dogs.
I mean, well...
I thought he was just going to step on it.
Either way, the baby was out of there.
Oh man, but yeah, listen, you know what? I wasn't expecting for Ramsay to kill Roose right then and there, so that actually kind of took me by surprise.
I agree.
Him killing Roose wasn't a shocker. It's when he did it, it's like as soon as he got the news of the kid, it was like, oh, motherfucker, you dead. So yeah, man, that was quite interesting. And then Walda, trying to beg for her life. I'm like, yeah, you must not realize what family you married into if you're gonna sit there and beg Ramsay for your life. Like, I'll go back to the Meereen.
Although, if you think about him killing Fat Walda, he all of a sudden made an enemy of all the Freys. And we can make fun of the Freys all we want, but they're a huge army. When he's already fighting the North, and then the Freys come at him with the South, he's basically asking to be fucked. Big time.
I mean...
It's not a good plan to kill Fat Walda.
You're right, Jerry. You're right, Jerry.
But you got to think about it. Look, he's got the Karstarks, he's got the Maester, he's got everyone around who was going to say Walda and Roose and the baby got killed by their enemies, whoever these enemies happen to be. So they've already got everything locked down. The information that's going to get to anyone is the information that they want out there. So, I mean, and like Ramsay said,
like that.
The Freys are going to want the body. When they see the body, they're going to be able to tell right away she was ripped to shred by dogs. Who has a reputation of ripping people by dogs? He's going to be found out right away. He's fucked.
But
he should have took her hostage. But
here's the thing.
Freys on the side.
If he happens to burn the body and say that someone else did it, well, there you go. Look,
he could potentially say something like during the battle, Stannis and his men got a hold of them somehow and burned them.
Exactly.
Something to that effect or something.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where Ramsay is going to have the upper hand because he's going to be able to control the information that leaves Winterfell. And as we all know, history is written by the victors.
Hey,
so, and
the true story always comes out. Like the Freys tried to pull that information with the phrase tried to pull that information with the Red Wedding. They tried to make up some story about Rob turning into a wolf and all kinds of other
They
nonsense.
try to make it. I mean, everybody knows.
The phrase tried to make up stories to put them to not make everyone mad at him, and it didn't work. And I don't think this will work either.
Well,
I mean, we'll see. You know, at the end of the day, the Freys have no reason to mistrust Ramsay at all. I mean, they don't know enough about him to mistrust him. But it's just one of those things where, you know, there are going to be repercussions, but I doubt there are going to be repercussions from the actual Freys themselves. He'll get it from somebody else, which everyone is hoping it will be Jon and the Wildlings and the remnant of the Night's Watch.
right.
I think that maybe you guys are considering that the Freys will still have enough power to where they can take revenge, because I really believe that they're on the way down in a very swift manner.
Well, right now they do. I don't know. Who knows what will happen to them in the future?
That's what I'm saying. Like, for real, like, the Freys are going down. There's a wedding happening, and it's not going to be pretty.
All right.
I think James wants to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, just real quick. First off, what Jerry's saying, Ramsay's impulsive. He does stupid things. Bottom line. We'll just leave that there. Second thing I was pissed about was that, 5 of the 20 good men that took down Stannis' camp gets easily slaughtered by Bran. That's from last episode, but he did say they had his good men on him in this episode. But yeah, you know, it was just terrible. And I did think that I personally thought that Ramsay was going to kill Roose, but I thought it was going to be more like an episode 6, 7 range. Though it definitely accelerated that quickly. That's it.
I mean,
yeah,
hey, well, you know what? Listen, when it comes to the killing, like Bruce said, I don't think the Sansa killed him all by herself, so it is what it is. But let's move right along to the next topic. Jerry, what do you got for us?
Next topic is Brienne, Sansa, Pod, and Theon hanging out in the snow. So it's decided that they're going to be it's decided that they're going to head to Castle Black to try and meet up with Jon. And Theon decides that he's not needed anymore. He was willing to go he was really to escort Sansa, even if it meant his life or it meant serving in the Night's Watch. But now he's determined that Brienne and Pod are better suited to take her there. So he's like, I'm out, I'm bouncing, I'm going home. And that's pretty much it for that scene as far as what I saw. Anyone have any comments there?
I need to rewatch that scene because I didn't really get the point of why he was leaving them. It just seemed like the writers were like, okay, we need to quickly get him to the Iron Island, and they just kind of shoddily wrote it. I have to go really closely and re-listen to the dialogue, but it did seem kind of shoddy.
I think you're right there, James. I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, let's get Theon as fast as we can to the Iron Islands to create conflict and drama. Definitely.
You guys didn't see where it was kind of like, my mission was to get you to the wall, but now here's this person who's way better at this than me and her assistant, and they can totally do better for you than I can. So then what gives him eye? And he's like, no, we're besties, we gotta stay together. And he was like, well, not really. When we get to the wall, I'm gonna get killed. Like, he said that. He said, I'm a traitor and they're gonna kill me. So my only option for my life, now that your life is good, is to go home.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get that, but I will agree that it just seemed a little kind of rushed, because for one, how is he even going to get back to the Iron Islands? At this point, people.
Well, he asked for a horse.
Yeah, but how is he getting back to the Iron Islands?
Ride the horse.
That's like that's like
women.
That's like someone in like California going with a Pinto and no money for gas. Like, I'm gonna make it to New York. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you know what? That was. I mean, again, that was one of the very kind of nitpicky scenes from there. So it's like it wasn't the worst thing possible, but it definitely could have been better. I do like the fact that Brienne actually informed Sansa that Arya was all right. You know, and who knows? Maybe they'll try to find Arya on the way. But I mean, obviously they're not going to find her since she's not in Westeros. But I do like the fact that she actually brought that up instead of keeping that as some secret. Like, oh yeah, yeah, I saw your sister, but I don't think I need to tell you about that. So, it is what it is. All right. So yeah,
Let's see.
let's move on.
Move on. So we're back at the Iron Islands. We got Yara talking, mouthing off to Balon and making perfect points. She's talking about how frivolous taking the North was because it was only good while the guys were off from the North were off fighting a war. Now that they're back, the Iron Islands are getting slapped around and chased off. They had just lost Deepwater Mott to the Glovers, and Balon, ever the idiot, is still, no, we gotta do this. I'm the last king around. I'm the king of the Iron Islands. I'm the crack daddy around here. He's talking nonsense. Gets pissed off at Yara. Storms off. Euron somehow managed to get through the bridge without having any eyewitnesses see him. Pulls off his cloak. They have a little brotherly talk about kind of introducing the Euron character, why he's not a godly man. They do it as best they can. It's not great, but whatever. It's a short scene. Balon realizes it's going to come to blows. Tries to take a swipe at Euron, and Euron just throws him off like the Emperor. Splash, and then we get to Balon's funeral, where the Dampier announces to Yara that there's going to be a King's Moot, despite Yara's protest that it's just passed to her.
All right. Well, real quick, before we actually get into this topic, Christina actually has to say goodnight, so I want to give her the chance to sign off real quick.
Thank you. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta go. It's after midnight, and I have to get up at 5 a.m. for work. Go serve a man.
It's cool, Christina.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. There's so much more to talk about, and we'll get into it more over the next week before next Sunday. But all right, you guys. Happy faces. Catch you later.
Peace.
I'm still gonna be watching because I'm gonna be eating and stuff. But until I go to sleep, I'll watch y'all in your opinion comments.
All right, then. All right. Well, hey, have a good night, and hopefully we'll get to see you again next week for one of these. All right.
So.
All right. So.
Back to the Iron Islands. What did y'all think?
Yeah. So look, I thought that Iron Islands, they did a great job with this one. And the funny thing is, though, I thought it was going to last a bit longer. They got Balon in and out of there super quick. It was like they jump in, he has an argument with Yara, gets on the bridge, Euron's there. All right, bye, motherfucker. Off the bridge, done.
Peace.
It's like watching it in fast forward. Like in an old VCR. Just putting it in a fast forward. That's how the Iron Islands went.
Yeah. So look, it was a good scene. But it was just kind of interesting that they really, they talked about the season going at breakneck speed, and god damn,
This was breakneck speed, no doubt about it. This was great example of it.
Get whiplash as quickly as you're killing people off.
I just had 2 quick points, and I'll let Kraken talk because I'm sure he's got some things to say about this situation. One, I thought it was pretty cool that they brought in a line from the book. Directly, essentially, when Euron said, with the people of Karth, when the people of Karth and Meereen see my sails, they bend down to me and worship me. That was pretty cool. And the second is, I have an issue with, if you're going to have a Aeron Greyjoy or a character like the Dampier, why not have a little nod that he is related to them? Why not have Asha or Yara, whatever her name is on the show, say, uncle, call him uncle or something. Just a little something, a nod.
Knuckle.
No, yeah, just something. Just give a little nod that he's actually related to them, and that he is actually Aeron Greyjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that one. You know, I was hoping that we would actually get some reference to his name, but maybe during the King's Moot, they might say something. I mean, yeah, because it does seem kind of odd that they wouldn't at least mention like, hey, he was my brother and I miss him or something. You know, so yeah, that's the one thing, and they didn't even do that earlier. Like when Theon first returned to the Iron Islands, you know, they had Dampere there, but they never actually, you know, talked about who he was. And I mean, obviously, you know, for anyone who's just a show watcher, they would recognize that he is some kind of drowned priest. But beyond that, they're not going to know who he is if they're not into the books. Kraken, what do you got for us? Because I know Iron Islands is your thing.
Man, there was a lot of things that I wanted that I didn't get. But they even okay. So with Aaron Damfair proposing the idea of the Kingsmoot, you know, I don't think that we needed to see Euron on the fucking bridge to shove Balon off. Like they don't even look like brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like such an age difference there that isn't even funny. It's not funny whatsoever. You know, but I think that what they should have done is we could have had a Kingsmoot in Naga's ribs, and everybody would have been like surrounded by different fires, you know, and that were just like kind of lit up around them and whatnot. And then after Asha gave her speech, you know, maybe some of the other people in the Iron Islands would have gave their speech, but then all of a sudden you had Euron like kind of walk down these stairs that led up into Naga's rib cage, you know, and had him just look a little bit more sadistic, you know, and also a little bit more older than the actor that they did. Like it doesn't look like Balon's little brother. It doesn't look like that at all.
Mads Nicholson.
Yeah, like it could have been that way. Like that shit looked good. Like all those pictures of him being Euron were fantastic. They were great. You know, but they really needed to cast someone that was older. They really did.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the one problem with the show is because of the fact that they try to make it more believable in terms of certain ages. Certain characters got aged up way more than they were in the books, and unfortunately, other characters didn't. Like, Euron is about the right age for what he should be from the books, but Balon is like way older than he should be from the books. Like, really, Balon should be like in maybe his mid-40s, and like in the show, he looks like he's in his mid-60s or something. So I mean, that, you know, unfortunately, them doing this kind of balancing act with the characters has kind of shifted shifted some of the ages a little bit. But one little tidbit that I actually do like that they had in there with the with the whole Yara and Balon scene was the fact that he referenced the War of the Five Kings. He was like, yeah, it's the War of the Five Kings, and I'm the only one left, goddammit. That was kind of interesting. That was kind of interesting there. Any thoughts on that from any of you guys?
No,
Not really.
yeah, I didn't think too much about Balon being the only one left, especially with all of us knowing that he's about to die. You know, like that shit was kind of telegraphed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was. It was. But
here's a question for you all. Who thinks that uh, Theon will get a hold of Littlefinger's teleporter and make it to the kingdom in time. Anyone think that? Don Willie says he thinks that.
Yeah, I guess we were supposed to raise our hands on that one, right?
Oh, sorry. What was the question again?
Do you think that Theon would
get Littlefinger's teleporter?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be the case. Everyone uses that teleporter.
You know, Littlefinger has to be the most magical character in the show. No one knows that he actually does magic. Like that's the craziest thing. It's like anytime someone gets somewhere where they aren't supposed to be, you know, Littlefinger. Just
yeah, Littlefinger.
From now on, for anyone in the chats and anybody who's watching this later, if you have any question as to how did that person get there when they really shouldn't have been there, Littlefinger. So, yeah, what did you guys think about the way that Balon died, though? I mean, did anybody have a problem with the way that he died?
Other than it was a faceless man, not really. It kind of needed to be a faceless man because, I mean, as you saw, there's kind of like a big plot hole now. Like, really, no one saw. There is no eyewitnesses that saw Euron anywhere. They're like, we'll find out who this is. I'm like, seriously? He just walked right through, flipped your king over? What kind of Secret Service do you have here? Come on.
But, you know, it's not going to be. It's D&D's writing. It's just going to be glossed over in the end. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about the Iron Islands. Anyone else have anything before we go to our final scene here?
No.
Our final two scenes, actually.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so then we go back to the wall here, and we have Melisandre and Davos talking, and it sounds to me like Davos, he's just throwing darts. He doesn't really know what Melisandre can do, but he's like, she's magical. Maybe she can bring someone back to life. So he goes and asks her, can she do it? And, you know, she's like, no. Listening to a lot of My Chemical Romance and some, you know, Taking Back Friday. I can't. I don't know if I can right now.
I don't know, dude. Like, Davos is just, like, when he talks to her, he's like, listen, I need you to regain faith in whatever it was that you had faith in.
He was the motivational speaker. He was like he's like Matt Foley, except better.
Right.
And he, you know, he gets her to, you know, give it a shot. She comes out, cleans up Jon's body, gives it a shot, and right away, within a few seconds, she's like, oh, didn't work. Let's all leave the room, and they all leave the room. A few minutes pass. Wolf, what's his name? Ghost is like, something's up, and we see Jon wake up. Jon is resurrected.
Jon is alive.
Jon Snow is alive. Let's get, what was that guy's name? Kyle from fucking Chicken.
Yeah, Kyle fucking Chickens.
I think he nailed it, and he predicted that he would be Jon would be resurrected at the end of this episode. So.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be next episode. I honestly think that. I mean, we were talking during the thing that we thought that this attempt would fail, cause like further doubt, and then something would happen, and then he would resurrect next episode. One thing to note, it was Davos's first F-bombs, and he said 2 of them. So that was an interesting development for his character. And yeah, you know, it was a fine scene. You know, I thought that like when the music drowned out, I knew something was gonna happen, and I personally thought what would happen was when Ghost perked up, I thought he was going to go over like Jon, like lick his face, and there'd be like some kind of semblance of like transference from Jon to Ghost. But they went with the route of just Jon resurrecting. Hey, it was cool. What can I say?
Yeah. The shit was definitely cool.
We knew it was coming. There was no surprise. It happened maybe a little earlier than we thought. Cool to see. You know, everyone, the community was going crazy, but, you know, we all knew it was coming, so. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know what? It's funny because this was kind of the worst kept. It was like the best kept, worst kept secret of all time. So, it's like, yeah, everybody knew he was coming back, and it was like, well, why lie to the people and say he's not coming back? Now, you could have said he wasn't. I think it would have been better served if they would have said, hey, you know what? Jon isn't coming back until the end of the season, and then you surprise everybody with him coming back at the end of episode 2. So, but I do think that it was very interesting to see this whole thing transpire. And the funny thing is, though, he wakes up and there's nobody there, so I'm wondering, like, how they're going to wind up freaking out at the end, or not at the end, but, like, when they actually do see him walking around. It's like,
he's buck naked too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, all he had was not like a washcloth covering his Johnson there. So yeah,
And I don't even know if it goes around. It might just cover the top part.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had a washcloth and nothing else. So he's gonna wake up and like, okay, yeah, I understand that I'm cold and blue here, but I do want to get warm again. Can you guys please give me some goddamn clothes? So yeah,
it's all to appease the female audience.
So yeah, ladies, yeah, there you go. You got your naked man that's gonna be walking around there. Okay, so I don't want to hear no more of so many naked women and blah blah. All right, you're gonna get your naked Jon Snow.
Now, one thing I was hoping that we get answered to an extent is we still don't really have any true motivation or reason why Davos is ride or die for Jon. Like I was like, yeah, no, I know that, but I was still hoping, I don't know, that we get some kind of reasoning. I was hoping that we would have got like some scene where the White Walkers would have sent some whites to the wall just to like fuck with them, and then Davos would see firsthand, the true dangers of what's happening, and then he would be ride or die with Jon because Mel would be like, oh, he's Azor Ahai, but no, it's just kind of like, whatever. I'm for Jon right off the bat. Don't matter. Don't need to have any explanation.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue and kind of a little bit of a plot hole. I don't think we're going to get that actually answered. I think the answer is just going to be because Jon's a swell guy. He's the hero.
No, I think that we're going to get some kind of dynamic, words from Davos explaining why he is following Jon. Like Davos is going to say some really gangster ass shit, to be like why Jon is who he is and why he backs him up.
Maybe. We'll see. But we all know, I don't know. I think it should be Jon backing up Davos, really, because Davos, he's been the real MVP here.
Yeah,
he's been talking, like, for all of the fool that Stannis has been looking at strategy-wise, Davos has been looking like he's the strategist. He's the man. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's talking like if he's Stannis from the books. So.
Yeah, you definitely got to give it up to Davos because he's been the guy Davos is like the heart of or the soul of the show right now. He's the guy who has the most kind of reasoning, just is thinking things out like, hey, you know what? We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. And it's like he's the only one that's been kind of getting it right, especially as of late. And so, I definitely like the fact that he was the one that went to Melisandre and was like, hey, look, is there anything you can do? Because I've seen you do stuff that most people shouldn't be able to do, and hey, you got to be able to do something. So, yeah, I definitely like that. Yeah, but it was just funny seeing Melisandre like, what do you want?
Well, with me.
No, I messed up. They dead. And it was like, yeah, it was like, no. You got to do something because damn it, we need Jon Snow. All right, at least you try. Just try. All right.
I just remember him saying, then fuck him.
Yeah,
that was the best line. That was the best line.
My God, he gave up on me. He don't believe in me. No.
Then fuck him.
So, okay, guys. I want to ask one question before we get to our final thoughts and wrapping up. Before that, I want to ask, do you think that this is how Jon Snow will be resurrected in the books? By Melisandre.
No.
Yes.
Nah, I'm gonna say no. And in fact, look, I'll tell you how I think he's gonna be resurrected. I think it's gonna kind of be by accident. I think she's going to think that Stannis is dead. She's gonna she is gonna convince Selyse that they need to burn Shireen, or vice versa, and then they're gonna burn Shireen. She's gonna be like, Lord of the Light, bring back Azor Ahai, and then the next thing you know, Jon is gonna wake up.
I can see that. I can see that.
Oh, you were asking what's happening in the books?
Yeah. Is this? Well, we're asking. Is this how it's going to happen in the books?
Oh,
So on the TV show.
well, I don't know. I have a different take because I do think Stannis will burn Shireen. I think it's because the situation will be much more dire, and he's going to want to wake the Stone Dragons. He's a utilitarian. His arc is tragic, and she's been dreaming about being burned the whole time. And I'm a Stannis guy, and I still think it's going to happen like that.
Okay,
And then
well,
eventually,
wait, before any of you guys interject, I just want to answer that real quick. Here's the thing. Shireen is not with Stannis. Stannis would have to either get back to Winterfell, back to Castle Black, or send for Shireen. Like it would have, they would have to be some way that they meet up.
it's a long book though. They could travel from the first chapter to the last chapter. They can somehow get together. It's not out of the realm of possibilities.
I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibilities, but I just think, logically speaking, especially after the pink letter, I think the pink letter is going to be the catalyst for Shireen getting burned. So, I mean, like I understand, Stannis is the dude that he's still trying to be the believer, and this would be like the last step to him totally buying into everything. But I just don't. I think it would take too long.
Well, here's kind of my theory, is that Stannis is going to win the Battle of Winterfell. He's going to take Winterfell, and that's when Selyse and Shireen get the cue that they need to move on to Winterfell. They make it to Winterfell, and then that's when the wall's going to come down and the White Walkers will be coming, and then they're going to be coming towards Winterfell. Stannis is going to see the situation as, what the fuck am I going to do? We have to resurrect Stone Dragons to kill these White Walkers. And Selyse that's when she burns. I mean, it's just a theory. I mean, it might very well be the way you say it too. I mean, I think your way is plausible as well. That's just what I think is going to happen.
I mean, well, given what you just said in terms of like him winning Winterfell and then the wall coming down and the White Walkers are marching, if that is the situation, then yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I could see multiple ways happening.
Yeah. Damn, Kraken stepped away, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get his thoughts on that thing.
Well, I guess I can start with my final thoughts for this episode. I thought it was really good. Yeah, there was a few little nitpicky moments, but I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 9. I thought it was really well done, and the only reason I'm not so super excited about it is because I predicted most of it. We all predicted most of the stuff. If we didn't all have friends, other members of Hype Watch, Tony Barr, Val, people like that, Preston Jacobs predicting all this stuff to tell us what was, the way we were able to figure out what was going to happen. If we didn't overanalyze the shit of this stuff, this would have been an amazing episode full of surprises. And because of that, I'm rating it on its own for that, and because of that, I give it a 9.
James, what do you got for us?
I'm going to give the episode a very solid 8.5. Definitely a very cool episode. I had a little nitpicky things here and there that doesn't make it a perfect episode or whatever, and pretty much the same thing as Jerry said. I mean, I can only imagine if I was completely unsullied, never read the books, never been on a Wiki of Ice and Fire, never watched a YouTube video, and I watched Jon Snow being coming to life. I imagine my jaw would be on the floor. So, there's some positives and there's some negatives for being all up in this stuff.
All right. Damn, I'm trying to wait for Kraken to get back in here and get his final thoughts, but I'm not exactly sure where he is right now. Look,
hopefully he didn't get thrown off the bridge. Hopefully.
Well, you know what? I'll try to stall for time with this one. Look, I will definitely say that this was a massive improvement over what we got with the last episode. I understand that the last episode was set up, but it's all about execution. That is the point that, they did a lot of the execution a hell of a lot better in this one. And so I'm glad that this was the follow-up to last week's episode. I mean, damn, like I said, they are going at breakneck speed, so, I mean, it seems like the cast is getting trimmed down, so goddamn it, you guys got $100 million. Use that money wisely and let us get what we need in order to get this ball rolling and to make sure that this series ends on a proper note.
Yeah, I thought they were pocketing that cheddar at that last episode, but this one we got our money's worth for that budget. And because of that, I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen the rest of the season, because I think there's going to be more surprises, more to find out because of their, rapid speed, and it looks like we got Kraken back. Yeah. Kraken, you want to give your final thoughts on this episode, what you rate it, and any commentary on that?
Well, it was definitely better than the last episode. I can tell you that much. Like it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely better than the last episode. I want to know a little bit more of what's going on with the Ironborn. Definitely. I really don't know how I feel about the whole Euron thing with how he dealt with Balon in his speech. His speech should have been in the King's Moot, not on the bridge, but I don't know, man. Guys, we just gotta take it as we get it, I guess.
Well, what is your rating for this actual episode?
I say a 7.
God damn. All right.
I got a question for you guys in the rating. Did any of y'all give it a no Dorn curve?
Yeah, I haven't given my rating yet, so I'm definitely rating on the no Dorn curve. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: the moment you add Dorn into the show, I think it automatically brings down at least 1.5 points. I was going to say at least 1.5. It depends on if Tyene's getting naked or not. But yeah.
Hey, you know what? If Nim gets naked at one point in the near future, mm-hmm. I would say Dorn might balance out.
Dude, Lady Nim is so hot. Yeah, Lady Nim is so hot.
If Abora gets naked, then it's like a -5.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. She's not the best.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Oh man, but yeah, you know what? So rating on the no Dorn curve, I will give this one also an 8.5. Like I said, it was a massive improvement over last week's episode, and it is definitely a step in the right direction. The fact that we got some more character deaths that we weren't expecting them to happen when they did, but they were satisfying. It wasn't kind of contrived. So yeah, I will definitely say that I can't wait to see next week's episode, because last week had me kind of like, oh god, if this is what they're gonna do, this season is fucked to all hell. But yeah, this was definitely I like this one a lot, and can't wait to do this again with you guys next week.
Yeah, I can't wait either. Oh, and if anyone has any questions that they want to ask us, we're not taking them now, but save them. We'll be doing the same Q&A again next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Central. So get ready for that. And yeah, I'll get ready for next week's episode. hopefully it's not like the same thing. Like, remember when we saw the Hard Home episode and it blew our minds, and then the next episode made us want to blow our minds out with the gun, with the Shireen burning? But hopefully that doesn't happen this time. So.
Well, guys, next or this upcoming Friday, I invite every single one of you to join me as well. Let's take a week. Let's watch it a couple of times. Let's get a better idea, of what the hell is actually going on, And so, how about Friday? Let's reconvene. Let's reconvene. And I'll be more than happy to host it on my channel. I've already scheduled it, so anybody that can come, that would be fantastic.
Excellent. So, yeah, make sure to look for us again on Friday on Donna Krakenwick's channel. The link to Donna Krakenwick's channel will be in the description, and I will actually go back and edit this to put in the actual chat itself. So, yeah, links for all of the guys.
Nice.
In the description, except for Jerry, because God damn you, Jerry.
God damn it, Jerry.
God damn it, me.
God, Jerry.
Do some fucking videos. Anyway, yeah, so, everybody want to say who they are real quick as we sign off, beginning with, God damn it, Jerry.
Well, this is Jerry the goddamn Targaryen Steamboat. You find me up on the Hype Squash. The hype is always gathering, and the hype never dies. So we're always doing something. You can also hit me up on Twitter. Just Jer_Rodriguez. The name actually changes kind of often. Right now, for this NBA playoffs, I'm currently Sir Tim Duncan the Tall. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. Take it away, James.
Yeah, my name is James Michelle. Do a Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones videos. I'm like 50 subs away from 500, so help me get there. That'd be cool. And I'll say a month from now on the Hypes Watch channel, I mean, it's a little ways away, but we were going to be doing a Feast for Bros #2. So I hope they get some people excited.
All right. Kraken.
Hashtag Crack Nation. Everybody out there that are a bunch of crackheads with all of their beautiful faces. Like, I love every single one of y'all, but definitely Don Willie. Thanks for having me on this reaction fucking Game of Thrones, dude. Like, it's wild as shit. But yeah, definitely later this week, let's everybody reconvene and see what more we can get out of it. Let's watch the episode a couple more times, and maybe we'll have a different outlook at the end of the week.
All right. Cool. Listen. Thank all of you guys for joining us this week. And, shout out to a couple of special people in the chat that I had no idea were even going to show up. Yeah, Val from Because Geek, who, obviously she is doing.
Hey, Val.
And, I gotta hit you up because I need you for an epic battle of Ice and Fire. My man Civilization X showed up a little bit earlier, so I mean,
Civex.
That's always great. Alicia Kingston, you're gonna have to come on one of these one day. Obviously, you had T Baby, my man Darren, Scottish boy, Kyle's Fulking Chickens was in here for a little while, and yeah, to all of the regulars out there and all the new people who have subscribed to me recently. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It absolutely, it absolutely makes my day whenever I see you guys pop up and say what's up to me. All right. So, with that being said, you already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, come back for more. That has been our time, and this is Don Willie saying, Valadaharis.